Hi, I'm Fran Tarkington. I am an entrepreneur. I've started 20 companies over my lifetime. I started back when I was playing football. But also as part of my entrepreneurial thinking and business thinking, it was formed also with my thinking as a professional football player and as a collegiate football player. I played for 18 years in the National Football League, and that certainly shaped the way I thought, the way I worked with teams, people, respect for customers, respect for my partners. All of those things were part of my foundation. And as we go down the Entrepreneur 101 course, we want to give you access to all of this information that we have developed through experience to help you have a better chance to make your business work. I put together 7 maxims of business that have been fundamental to my success. The first, the mission of business is to help people. And you say, oh no, the mission of business is to make money. That's a byproduct of it. The mission of business is to help people. And if your mission is to help people, you're going to make sure that your products and your services have great value. You're going to make sure that your customers have great experiences. And when that is the case, you will then also tell your customers and your prospects the truth. If that's your mission, then you have a sustainable mission to make your business work. If your mission is to make money, then you will compromise your principles, a la Bernie Madoff, Alan Stanford down in Texas, and others who run Ponzi schemes. Again, remember as you start off, the basic fundamental foundation number 1. The mission of business is to help people. If you have that mission at the top of your head and in your heart, you will have a chance to have a sustainable business mission and have success. Maxim number 2. I love this one. People have to talk to people. I don't care if you're quiet, outgoing, ingoing. You got to talk to people. Everything we learn is based on what we hear, what we see, and what we read. So therefore, you've got to put yourself in positions to read relevant things about business, about people, about how other people think, because you've got to change the way you think. People have to talk to people. I read the Wall Street Journal, New York Times every morning cover to cover. One's a conservative paper, the other a more liberal paper. Great writers, great content. I learn from that. I also put myself in front of people that I respect, different thought processes, diverse people, people that think differently from me, people that don't necessarily agree with me. If I only talk to the people that I'm comfortable with, the people that agree with me, I'll never learn. I'm from Athens, Georgia. And the people in Athens, Georgia, now that I live in Atlanta, 60 miles away, say, oh my goodness, how do you live in that big city? They've never gotten out of there. They're good people. But I not only been in this big city, but every big city in the world. I've learned from other people. But I make sure that I'm talking to people and listening to people that have credibility. When I played football, I learned from Vince Lombardi, played for him in All-Star games, Don Shula, Bud Grant, Tom Landry, the greatest coaches in football I learned from. In business, I talked and had been mentored by Sam Walton, the founder of Walmart, Bernie Marcus, the founder of Home Depot, and many others. These are the people that we have to read about. We have to talk to when possible. We have to ask questions. We have to be curious, because if we do that, you and I will get smarter. And if you get smarter, you have a better chance to win. Maxim number 3. There are no silver bullets. One of the biggest reasons people fail is they spend all their time chasing the proverbial silver bullet. You think that it's a get-rich-quick scheme. Somebody has the secret to success. They don't have the secret to success. And what I have found in all of my years, most of the people that are out there selling coaching programs, that are selling personal development programs, they're selling CDs, DVDs, books. They're very entertaining speakers. But the one thing they all have in common, They have never started and run a business. They don't have the experience to be able to tell you what you're going to do to be successful. Oh, they're going to give you the platitudes, the things that have been written for years and years and years. And if you'll just follow this system, you're going to have success like you've never had before. I've got a lead system for you. I've got a methodology for you. I've got products and services that you can just go out and you can double, triple, quadruple your income overnight, and it sounds good. It's a lot of hype. Run from that, because there are no silver bullets. If you're going to have success in business, it's because of your passion, your commitment, your willingness to work, your willingness to do the fundamentals right. That's what will drive you. Don't chase silver bullets. Don't chase get-rich-quick schemes. If it sounds like it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true. Listen and learn from the people that have done it before, the people that have credibility. Maxim number 4, you've got to reinvent yourself every day. When I played in football games, and people said, well, you have to change your offense or your defense from year to year. Oh, we not only changed it from year to year, we changed it from game to game, from quarter to quarter, from minute to minute. Because we had to, because once we did something that was successful, the defense would adjust and they would stop that. So we had to go do something else. Business is no different. Don't fall in love with your product. Don't fall in love with your service. Be committed to it, but be committed to making it better, 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 better every day. If you stay stagnant, if you stay the same, if your product doesn't get better, if your service doesn't get better, if your customer service doesn't get better, if your technology doesn't get better, if your approach doesn't get better, if you don't think differently, then you'll fail. The fun of business is you never figure it out. It's always changing, isn't it? And you've got to change with it. So you've got to be willing to reinvent yourself every day. Oh, you say, but I work 24/7. I work 7 days a week. Well, then you got to learn how to think while you're working. You got to take some time to read, to listen, to learn, to talk, because you've got to be able to think differently. You can't be the same you were yesterday. You've got to be better. You see the great athletes. They all say, well, I've got to improve. I've got to get better. I've got to work harder. I've got to work. And they do. LeBron James, the Michael Jordans from yesterday, the LeBron James from today, the Kobe Bryants, the Kevin Durants. They're doing things better, younger, because they are working to improve, to get better, and they're the best in the world. You have got to have the same discipline. And when you get that and you want to get better every day, you are going to love what you're doing better because it becomes exciting. Sameness is not exciting. Reinventing yourself every day is exciting. Maxim number 5, you have to have a sense of desperation. You've heard about a sense of urgency. Yeah, that's it. But you got to have a sense of desperation. One time I was listening to Michael Jordan near the end of his career. He won 5 or 6 NBA championships. And they were saying, Michael, can you do it again? Oh, I don't know. He said, Scottie Pippen is, he's hurt, won't be with us until January. Dennis Rodman, he's crazy. All these young guys out there, they're a little quicker than I am now, and I've slowed down a little bit. What was he doing? He was creating a sense of desperation for himself, for the great, incomparable, greatest basketball player, maybe the greatest athlete ever to live, Michael Jordan. He had to create a sense of desperation, and that's what he was doing. Every morning that I get up, I have a little edge. A little edge. I'm creating that sense of desperation, that sense of urgency, a little fear. When I go into a football game, I have butterflies and a little fear. Every morning you get up, you got to have a little edge. You got to get up ready to go. You ought to have a little pit in your stomach. All during the day, I've got a little edge. With that little edge, that sense of desperation, I'm going to be able to see the potholes better. I'm going to see the opportunities better because I'm like the animal in the woods. I've got senses that I didn't know I had. And that comes from not complacency, not all about me. It's about creating every day a sense of desperation. Maxim number 6, you learn more from failure than from success. When I won a game, oh, it was the greatest. You know, you play in the stadium, the people are cheering, your teammates are happy, you come to the locker room, you high five, you hug, man, all your work has come to fruition. You go out and you celebrate, you have dinner with all your family and friends, and everything is great. And that's the way it's supposed to be. But when you lose, I didn't go out with anybody. I couldn't sleep that night. What did I do wrong? What went wrong? I started analyzing and looking at every play by play. And I didn't blame the defense, and I didn't blame the offensive line. I didn't blame the coaches. I had to take responsibility for that myself. You can never get better unless you take ownership of the defeat. Unless you take ownership of the failure. See, it's not failure, really. It's a learning experience. Because from that failure, from that mistake, if we take ownership of it, we can get better. The only way that you're going to get better, that I'm going to get better, that any athlete's going to be better, or any business person, is to take ownership of the mistake and learn from the failure. You're not going to learn from success near as much. But you can learn from the failure if you take the ownership of the failure. This is such an important lesson for you, starting in business today, or whether you've been in business for 20 years. It is fundamentally the right thing and the right thought process. In all of my years of football, and all of my years of business, I've learned very little from success. I have learned from failure. And if you're not failing, that means you're not trying, you're not doing, you're not pushing the envelope. If you're just comfortable in your chair and in your business, failure is going to come very rapidly, and you're not going to know what to do. Take advantage of the mistakes. Take advantage of the failure, and take ownership of it and learn from it. You know, you can run fast. You can be a Phi Beta Kappa. You can jump high. You can have all the talent. You can have all the great products and all the great ideas and all the great thinking. But if you're not willing to work hard, it won't make any difference. I love to work. I don't know. I learned that. I was going to say, I don't know whether I was born with it. I'm not born with it. You're not born with it. You learned it. I learned it from doing paper routes when I was 7 and 8 and 9 years old in Washington, D.C. I worked on a farm in Athens, Georgia in the summertime when I was in my early teens. When I went to pro football, I played for the Vikings, and I worked hard at that. I worked hard at my craft every day. And then in the off season, I worked hard at my craft to get better, but I also got a job. I worked for a trucking firm in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and I was going knocking on the doors in January and February in the Dakotas, in Minnesota, to tell people to ship their goods from the Dakotas through Minneapolis to Chicago and back. I made $600 a month. I made $12,500 a year playing football, but I knew I just had a work ethic. And I got to enjoy work. Nothing takes the place of hard work. If you're not willing to go out and do what you've got to do, if you've got to work 20-hour days, you got to work 20-hour days. I work 24/7. I'm thinking while I'm sleeping. When I'm on vacation, I'm involved in my work. I love it. It's not a burden for me. I never take a day off because I'd be lost. You got to love what you do. If you don't love what you do, you're not going to be willing to work hard at it. But if you think you can just mail it in, you cannot. I don't care what gifts you have, what money you have. Nothing takes the place of hard work. You've got to love hard work. You've got to get joy out of the competitive workplace. And when you do, this will be the greatest lesson you've learned. Outwork anybody, everybody that all your competitors. Do you think Michael Jordan got there without hard work? Do you think LeBron James and Kobe Bryant get there without hard work? All the athletes of today and yesterday had one thing in common. They worked really hard. And they got the benefits from that. These are not miserable people. These are happy people because they know the secret to their success is hard work.